The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 435 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Wrath has no fury like a scorned Night Sister witch.
Yeah. You should have talked to Rick Fumiyawa about that.
He didn't call me. You know what? We were left on the editing room floor, as was Bob Newhart.
Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first novel in a series of Narnia novels.
I don't want to say fan service moment, but I really wanted to see a big fan service moment. What happened next is unbelievable.
Are you ready?
Welcome to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! We have reached that moment in time which we could not wait for, but yet dreaded. The finale of Ahsoka! We want to know what happens, but we don't want it to be over. But before we go into that, let's welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to the Pumpkin Queen herself, my sweetie wife, Sarah.
Why, thank you. Yes, we did a lot of Halloween activities on these first couple days of October, which we'll also talk about. We are so excited. But first, Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. So it's time to imagine a big Wookiee hug and a little sprinkle of pixie dust. And perhaps a howl from a sincere pumpkin patch.
Each year, the great pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch that he thinks is the most sincere.
For our family of Skywalkers. Now, in this episode, we are breaking down the season or series finale of Ahsoka. We don't quite know yet. We're going to break down the episode with Easter eggs, musical moments, and our overall opinion of the series.
Or season.
Yes.
There's been talk about season 2, which season 2 will happen in the movie, in the Dave Filoni Mandoverse movie.
Who knows?
All right, we're also going to have lots and lots of things to share, including our monthly praise to the Skywalking Force in shout-outs.
That's right. Now, we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to Disney parks around the world. And best of all, their service is free of charge. So head to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them that Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
All right, now we are recording this from Long Beach, California on October the 3rd, 2023. Halloween month is finally here. Speaking of Halloween month, Sarah, how many more days until Halloween? Don't make me play the song. I'll play the song.
No, 28 days.
28 days.
Today's the 3rd, 31st, so you add 1 to a 30. Okay, yeah.
Okay, but little does Sarah know the song is still playing.
No.
All right, the only way we'll stop the Halloween 3 anthem is if you ask me the big question.
Oh, well, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, because on this day, October 3rd, 1986, the world welcomed little Yona Swatamo.
Oh.
Probably the only time we'll ever hear the words little and Jonas Swatamo in the same sentence. He's going to celebrate his 37th birthday today. And Jonas took over the role of Chewbacca from Peter Mayhew in the Star Wars sequels. In The Force Awakens, he's credited as Chewbacca Double, but he did like 90% of the work. Whenever you saw Chewbacca walk, it was Jonas. He was also in Solo, a Star Wars story. He appeared in an episode of Willow. He had that cage around his head.
That's
the big
right.
giant. And next, he's going to appear as Kalnaka, the Wookiee Jedi in The Acolyte.
That's right. Wow, he's got job security.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
My goodness.
Yeah, and he's like one of the most kindest people you could ever meet. He's just so humble.
Oh.
I think when you're handed something like the role of Chewbacca, you take that very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he was very sweet when I went to the Solo, a Star Wars story press conference. He was very sweet on that stage.
Yeah, even during the press panels.
Yeah.
He just gives reverence to everyone around him. He takes all the spotlight off of him and gives it to everybody else. Love him so much. All right. Also on this day in 2008, 15 years ago, we saw the debut of Star Wars: The Clone Wars on Cartoon Network.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars. A new adventure this Friday at 9 p.m. Their galaxy isn't far, far away anymore.
We're clear.
Only on Cartoon Network.
Yay!
This was a debut of the TV series that launched Rebels, that launched Ahsoka. If it weren't for the Clone Wars, we wouldn't have Ahsoka.
Yep.
And the two episodes that aired today in 2008 was Ambush and Rising Malevolence, all centered around General Grievous.
Awesome.
Yeah, we saw so little of General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith, but now we had so much more in the Clone Wars.
So much. Yeah. Super cool set of episodes.
Yeah, so 15 years ago today, Sarah, we were huddled on the couch watching this new Star Wars TV show.
I remember it well.
All right, with that, let's get into Things We Want to Share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
All right, so we got to start off Things We Want to Share with a retraction. All right, so on our anniversary episode, this last episode, we were showing our skywalking buttons, which we have right here. And we showed one from 2017 from our cruise, our Disney cruise. And I mistakenly said that Jeremy Stevenson made this button that Sarah's showing to everyone in the Sky Chat and on YouTube. But it was Reynold Gobet. Reynold Gobet had made these buttons and he sent them to us to give out to everyone on the cruise. We had a big skywalking meetup on this cruise, and he gave us these buttons to give out.
Yeah, so thank you, Reynold, and so sorry for messing that up last week.
Yeah, I wish I had an excuse, but I don't. But you know what? Maybe this is a good time to roll in Reynold's congratulatory 10th anniversary message.
Hey, Richard and Sarah. Congratulations on 10 years of enthusiastic and positive podcasting.
Thank you, Reynold, and once again, we're sorry. You put a lot of work into that.
Yes, a lot of work into that beautiful design, so thank you.
For our 20th anniversary, I won't mess that up. All right, now, Sarah, we had a very busy week.
Yes.
A very, very busy week, which started on September 30th. We went to the LA premiere of A Disturbance in the Force. And we had Steve Kozak on the show a couple of episodes ago to tell us about this documentary about the making of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes.
And he told us all about this big premiere, and we were so happy to attend. And, of course, if you're going to go to the premiere, you got to do it right. So I went as Too Much Makeup Luke. Here's a picture of me and Sarah and our friends Yugi and Anwar. There they are right there. And they were the acrobats during that little holographic play that Lumpy was watching.
Yeah.
And Yu-Gi-Oh, the guy in the green right here, Yugi. He was the leader.
Yeah, in the green spandex suit. So he wore this green shirt as a nod to that, which I think is amazing.
And standing next to him is Anwar, and he and his whole family were the purple-suited acrobats. So they're going to be on the show for our big holiday special celebration in November.
Yes.
All right, so there was a panel right after the documentary, and we recorded it. That's going to be up sometime this week. And the panel consisted of producers. There was Jason Lindsay. There was Kyle Newman. We're showing a picture right here. Next to Kyle is Leonard Rips, one of the original writers.
The man in the gray beard.
Yes. He was one of the original writers on the holiday special. Next to him is Adam Goldberg. We all know that name from the show The Goldbergs. He was a producer on this. And next to him is Steve Kozak. And then there's us. Me as Too Much Makeup Luke, and you holding the red snuggied Chewbacca.
Yes. Also, we have to say that Bruce Valanche was there, but he had to leave towards the end of the panel before we could take this picture on stage.
Yeah. So, once again, the video will be up on our Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel this week. And hopefully the rumblings of the little boy who was full of sugar that sat next to us won't be a distraction.
Yeah.
I know it was for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to title that video, A Distraction in the Force.
So it was a really fun time, and anytime I can put on all that makeup and represent Too Much Makeup Luke, I'm happy.
And we took quite a amount of time putting you in makeup. What, did it take like half an hour or so to get that?
Yeah, so now I finally understand why it takes you girls so much time to get ready.
Yes.
We put on our shoes and a coat. We're good to go. Maybe run some water through our hair. And we're good. But now I understand.
Yes. That's so funny. Yeah, and it was so fun that night because we got to meet, all these great people as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of good contacts.
Yeah, and who so this was one of the writers.
Yeah, they were looking at a picture right now. You and me and Leonard Rips. He was one of the original writers on the holiday special. Next to him is our good friend Craig Miller.
Yes.
This was Craig and Leonard were talking in a really focused discussion, and Leonard Rips' wife saw me waiting in the wings wanting to get a picture with Leonard, and she's like pushing me. just go in there. It's like, no, I don't want to interrupt him. No, I'm his wife. He'll understand. Like, yeah, but you're pushing me in there.
I know.
You're not saying, honey, this is our good friend Too Much Makeup Luke. He wants to take a picture. So you're throwing me under the bus there. But thank you, Mrs. Rips.
Yes.
Because if it weren't for you, we would have gotten this picture.
And Brenda's saying that I always do such a great job on Too Much Makeup Luke. Yes.
Yeah, we even got some special hairspray.
Yeah, do you see it's all blonde? It's so funny.
It's like a golden 70s blonde.
Yes. And now Justin is asking, did you get a credit on this documentary?
Why, yes. Yes, we did.
Yes.
They even used one of our pictures from the Disneyland Life Day celebration.
Yeah.
And what we saw wasn't the final cut.
Right.
Because we didn't make the final cut.
No.
Don't know why.
But we are in the book.
You know what? We were left on the editing room floor, as was Bob Newhart.
That's very true.
We're in good company.
Yeah.
If Bob Newhart didn't make the cut, what hope is there for us? But once again, what we saw wasn't the final cut. They're always going to be tinkering with it.
Oh yeah.
And right now, the film still doesn't have distribution.
Oh right. Yeah. So we can't update you with when that'll be.
Yeah, that was the one question at the Q&A. When can we see this?
Well, there will be a screening on November 17th at the TCL Chinese Theater. However, we're going to be at Disneyland because we really want to spend Life Day at Disneyland.
Yeah, so stay tuned for updates on when a bigger audience can see this streaming or
otherwise
a very limited theatrical run.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. And he's going to have Steve Kozak's going to have a companion book that's going to be out November 15th. We talked all about that a couple of episodes ago when we had Steve on the show.
Yes.
All right. Then the next day, what happened, Sarah?
Well, okay, so the next day, October 1st, so now we're into October, and Richard, you and I had jobs that unexpectedly canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden we had a free day.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you have a free day and you have Disneyland Magic Keys?
You go to Irvine National Park and go pumpkin picking.
No, you go to Disneyland.
However,
oh, that's right.
We
Yes.
had a plan to go to the Irvine National Park and do some pumpkin picking and then go to Disneyland. And this was the
Yes.
first day for pumpkin picking at the park. We rolled up and there was a line as far as the eye could see.
Yeah, it said parking lot full. And we were like, okay, before we get in this crazy line, let's just turn around and go to Disneyland now instead of after we picked out our pumpkins and rode a train and
Yeah, like the hand of destiny went in and just picked up our car
Yes.
and put it on the 5 freeway because what happened next is
Okay.
unbelievable.
yes. So the timing of this is utterly like you can't plan this. So yeah, that's right. So we went to Irvine Park Railroad, couldn't get in. So we went to Disney, we parked at Mickey and Friends, we walked all the way to Disney, the gates of Disneyland. We walk in. It's a beautiful 70, 69 degree day, partly cloudy. We walk into Disneyland. One of our main goals that whole day was to kind of celebrate Halloween time at Disneyland. And the main thing that I especially wanted to do was watch a set of the Dapper Dans. And sometimes you can hit it just right where they're just starting their set when you walk into Disneyland, right? That main town
'Cause
square.
they're right there at
Yes,
the hub.
at the fireplace. Yeah. So we walk in and we hear the Dapper Dance. So we go under the
And they're
the
just
railroad.
beginning their set.
Yes, because that's the fear. Like a lot of times we walk in and they're just finishing a set, right? And you're
Always,
like, "Ugh." always,
every single time.
Yes.
we run in and we hear the "Thank you guys for watching. Be back in an hour."
Yeah. So they're doing the set. So we like go over there, we run over there, and we just enjoy the hell out of their set because it's all the spooky songs. You know, you got This Is Halloween, got the Haunted Mansion, Grim Grinning Ghosts, and then but as we're watching this set, Richard, you notice a photographer woman.
Yeah, I mean, a photographer with one of those very long lenses, the kind of thing where if you want a close up of an ant's face.
Yes.
This is the lens you use.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taking pictures of this gentleman in a wheelchair. And behind the gentleman in the wheelchair is a Disney cast member in a plaid vest.
Yes.
Which means they're there as an escort to either someone who's very rich and doesn't want to wait in line, or someone that Disney wants to impress.
Exactly.
And I'm looking at this guy. It's like, it kind of looks like that guy from... Looks like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins when he plays the banker.
Mr. Dawes.
Mr. Dawes. Looks like him, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't notice any of this because I'm like engrossed in the music.
Yeah.
And their set. And they're
I get radar.
Oh, you do have amazing radar, but this is what they look like. You know, they're all in their orange striped vests, the Dapper Dans. So you have the radar. Now, after their set, most people dispersed. I went up and thanked the Dapper Dans because this is like my favorite thing about Halloween time, and I told them so. And then all of a sudden the gentleman in the wheelchair rolls up to them closer and closer, and they're off their mics now. Like they have mics, but they're off their mics, and you can tell he's talking to them. And all of a sudden the Dapper Dans go into this quiet version of Light a Rose. My light a rose, oh home again rose. It's from I don't know if it's from the Music Man, but it's a very classic barbershop quartet song. And they were off mic. They're singing it very softly to basically this gentleman, his entourage, and us.
They're personally serenading him.
Yes. And we were just happened to be there, and they're in a public space. So, you know, they didn't shoo us away or anything. So we enjoyed this Light a Rose set. And then, Richard, that's when, after they finished, you went up to the Dapper Dans.
Yes, and I said, so who was that gentleman who looked like Dawes from Mary Poppins?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, that was Dick Van Dyke.
That was Dick Van Dyke!
We were standing right next to him this whole time.
It was Dick Van Dyke at Disneyland. Now, Dick Van Dyke has his own barbershop quartet. So, you know, he was so excited to be serenaded by the Dapper Dans. And we just saw a whole set of barbershop quartet with Dick Van Dyke at Disneyland.
But I felt like an idiot because I'm thinking, this guy looks like Dawes from Mary Poppins. Who is this guy? He looks like this other guy, but who is he? Because you wouldn't think, think that Dick Van Dyke would be right here without hordes and hordes of fans all around him.
Yes. So if we had gone to Irvine Park Railroad and stayed in that line and waited to get in, we would have missed Dick Van Dyke. But we were in the exact right place in the exact right time.
The hands of destiny.
Yes. And so, yeah, Brenda's saying most magic. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And then after they serenaded him, they took him out of the park.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't want to. I didn't want to go up there and say, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And
right.
Just leave him alone. So I kind of ran ahead and took some like little covert pictures.
Exactly.
And I didn't post them.
Right.
Because if you post it, people will know, oh, Dick Van Dyke's at Disneyland. Let's get down there with all of our Mary Poppins and this paraphernalia for him to sign. I didn't want that. So whenever we see celebrities at Disneyland, we may take a picture, but we'll never post it that day unless they say, yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So Stacy is asking, did we get some recordings of it? Actually, no, because our whole goal was to enjoy this day.
The one time.
Yeah.
The one time we don't record something.
Yeah, this happens. So, but we did catch a set later with the Dapper Dans on the way out. They happened to start another Halloween time set.
And guess what? Julie Andrews was there. Asterisk, no, she wasn't. But would have been funny if she was. And she's like, oh, Dick was just here?
Yeah, so while we did not record that set that he did.
That DVD saw.
The DVD saw. We did record a set later in the day. And they do the same set. And I'll be sharing that on our YouTube channel. But I do want to share. Now, Dick Van Dyke was there with his daughter or granddaughter, I'm not sure.
He was with some...
It was a woman whose birthday it was. And so they were going around Disneyland. And so later on Facebook, Dick Van Dyke did post on Facebook, at some point, the Dapper Dans sang Jolly Holiday to him. So I'm gonna show this. And it's not backstage, but I don't know when this was. So I'm gonna share this with you guys.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light. When the day is gray and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright. Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the smile. When Mary holds your hand, it feels so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. No, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Oh, what a holiday. It's Mary and ordinary. Mary's a bride. All right, oh, happiness is moving all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dawn. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so, your heart starts beating like boom, boom, boom. Yes!
Wow, he looked so happy.
How amazing.
He looked so happy while watching this.
So happy.
97 years old.
What? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And now Meredith in the Sky Chat just reminded us that it was Julie Andrews' birthday that day.
Oh.
October the 1st. And she just turned 88 years old.
Wow.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my goodness.
So, would have been fun if they were there together celebrating her birthday.
I so wish I would have been wearing one of my like Mary Poppins outfits. But I wish I knew like while we were watching the set that was Dick Van Dyke sitting there.
Yeah.
We just didn't know till the end. But still,
he was wearing a hat. He has got this.
He had sunglasses.
Beard.
He had sunglasses on.
But still, the whole time, like that guy looks like Mr. Dawes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like really grown into that character now. Oh my goodness. And yeah, Stacy's, you could see if he would be dancing it up if he could. Yeah.
And someone else took a picture of him up in the room right above the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's the Disneyland like suite.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And someone took a picture of him and posted it. And it's like, no, don't post that today.
Right. Just wait.
Yeah.
But still, what an incredible experience this was. And if you follow on Instagram, so Drew Tablack, he is the soprano of he's on the left side here of this picture. He posted this picture on Instagram. So you can follow him at drew.tablack. He says, got to sing for an icon today. Dick Van Dyke is an absolute gem of a human being.
And I talked to Drew right after that Dick Van Dyke, or as we call him now, DVD, left, and I said, did you know he was going to be here? They're like, no, we had no idea until he showed up.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not fair. But apparently Disney knew he was going to be there.
Well, yes, they get some notice beforehand.
Yeah, but you got to tell these guys, hey, just to let you know, someone might be showing up. It might be DVD, but he'll go under the code name VHS.
And I do have to say, like, what a special memory that we got to hear their Lida Rose special serenade to Dick Van Dyke, because we were there too. So
yeah,
that was really, really cool. Oh my gosh.
All right, so
I'm getting goosebumps.
That right there, we could have just left
yeah.
and been happy for the day.
Oh my God.
But we had other things on the checklist.
Yes. One of the things was Haunted Mansion Holiday. We have not ridden this since it reopened in mid-September. And you know, the Haunted Mansion changes over to Haunted Mansion Holiday. And so every time we've been there in the evening, the wait has been 70 minutes or so. And we're like, we're doing other things. But today we're like, okay, this is like one of 3 things on our checklist. So we went right over and rode Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yeah, so the 70-minute wait was more like 45.
50 minutes. It wasn't that bad. And as we said, it was a beautiful day. So it wasn't too bad waiting outside.
Now, am I wrong in saying that the gingerbread house in the dining room tableau was bigger than normal?
I don't think you're wrong. I think it's gigantic.
It's like twice the size.
Yeah. This is an actual gingerbread house in the ballroom scene. And this year it was like a mansion. You know, sometimes it's not necessarily, well, it's a house sometimes, but sometimes it's more spread out. But this time it was like a full-on mansion, like 5 stories high, it seemed like. Yeah.
And when we had Jeff Bam on the show a while back, he was saying if they sold gingerbread at a kiosk outside of the Haunted Mansion, they would be flying off the shelves.
Now, as far as I know, in the not the Disneyland Hotel, the Grand Californian Hotel lobby, they sell slabs of gingerbread.
We were there. Yeah, we got some of that. But,
but they need
after
to sell
you smell the gingerbread in the Haunted Mansion, you come on out, it's like, oh, I get this gingerbread smell stuck in my nose. There's some gingerbread. Here's $30 for a little slice.
Bryn is agreeing with you. Yeah. She says, yes, in all caps, sell us gingerbread. Okay.
Yeah, we're begging them to sell us things.
Yes.
All right, so that was the second thing on our checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, okay, let's just go home. We're happy. We're satisfied.
But wait.
Wait a minute. There's a new addition to Galaxy's Edge.
Yes. Chopper and Hera. They have been there for what, a week and a half now? 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
And we have not seen them yet. So, because we always go late and it's too late.
Yeah. If you're not there between 2 and 2:15 p.m., you're not going to see them.
Yes. So we went at about 3. But I want to say before that, we did walk straight into Galaxy's Edge and saw Fennec Shand just standing by her lonesome, just standing there. It was like, oh, hi, Fennec. And no one was talking to her.
Okay, she's all dressed in black and she was standing in the shade.
Yeah.
In a little alcove. So if you didn't see her, there's a reason why, because she's so blended into the back. And standing in the distance was Boba Fett.
Yes.
And he had a line.
Right.
So wondering why she didn't go over to meet
to
up
be
with,
in line.
with Boba. But then again, she was standing in the shade, so like, hey, who's the smart one here?
Yeah. So I went up and chatted with her, and she talked about how there's a daimyo here and how you're going to be part of his Contra. Yeah, but she just a very cool outfit, though. I mean, look at this.
You asked her to put on her helmet, and
she said no.
She gave a reason why she wasn't going to put on her helmet. Like,
yeah.
Just put on the helmet.
Put on the helmet. But her hair was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so then who comes walking out from backstage? Hera and Chopper.
Yay!
Oh, I'm yelling, Sarah! Sarah! It's an emergency.
And this was right after Laura, who is our friend on Batu, had said that she's only out till 2.
Yeah, so once again, we lost all hope.
Yeah, so we rounded the corner, and
there she was. I guess Hera's on a new schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like walked right up to her, and I'm wearing the shirt with Hera on it, like all the women of Star Wars. And so Hera and I chatted about that, and we got this fun little selfie of Hera and Chopper. And Chopper is so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, boy, what a mouth on that droid.
Yeah.
The cursing from him, like, Chopper, you're around kids. Come on. Of course, if you don't speak droid, you don't know what he's saying. But just the way he says it.
Yeah.
And then Hera gets a small group of kids and says, so who wants to train to be a rebel spy? All of a sudden, my ears are just burning. Like, oh, wait a minute. Is there going to be rebel spy training? So she took all these kids over to another little alcove area by the big blast doors. And then it was you who said, hey, does it need to be just kids? And Sarah, you pushed me into this little group. It's like, hey, I want in on this.
Well, Hera was like, okay, who wants to be a rebel spy? I'm like, Richard, go. So I made you go, and it was really funny. I didn't ask her if kids, adults were okay. I just pushed you in line, and she kind of looks up, and you'll see this in our video because I was taking video this whole time. But she looks up and she says, oh, I guess older children are fine too. And then with that, other people got in line besides you, like teenagers and 20-somethings.
So now what happened? We made an unofficial sequel to Rebel Spy Reject.
Yes! You know what? I can play a little bit of it here.
Yeah.
But this is on our YouTube channel right now.
We just released the whole edited deal yesterday.
Yeah.
You want to be a rebel spy?
I would like to be, yes.
Really?
Yes, every single time they bypass me at Star Wars.
Well, do you guys care if we have an older kid with us?
I'm only 11. I'm only 11.
Okay, all right. So 11 and a half. We were just talking about the physicality of stormtroopers. So now I'm going to test you. What is attention? Good. At ease.
Oh, so that's just a little tease. There's more to the video.
Yeah, Kelly in the Sky Chat, she says, the video is so fun of you training for the rebel spy.
Yes. Now was Richard successful in his training?
Well, gotta watch the video and find out.
Yes, you do.
So, a little bit of feedback here for those at Disney. Hera sets up this mission where she trains the cadets to be rebel spies, and she teaches us how to infiltrate stormtroopers. And we know over at the First Order area, they're stormtroopers.
Right.
So she's saying, go over there, interact, but don't let yourself be caught.
Mm-hmm.
See what kind of intel you can get, and come back and either tell me or another Disney cast member.
Right.
And that's it. So wait a minute. Yes, it's all right here. You set up this fun little game for the kids and kids like us, but there's no payoff.
Yeah.
They should have something set up with the stormtroopers that kids will, or she can lead the kids over to the stormtroopers and have them kind of react around them, and then come back and tell her what was said. And maybe these stormtroopers have this little script all planned out, where when they see the kids, they know, okay, this is part of the game. And this is what Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be about, little side missions that people can go on.
And how cool would that be to interact with a character?
Yes. And
from
so
your
now
series.
she takes us all aside for this little side mission. She starts it, but there's no resolution. Because either you can come back and report to her or report to someone wearing a name tag. Little spy cadets should get like a little plaque or a button or something.
Yeah.
A sticker, yes.
Yeah.
That says that they were trained by Hera. Just something a little bit more than just, hey, go infiltrate the stormtroopers and have a nice day. There's a little play there, but they didn't think it through.
Well, they didn't finish the story. They just said, okay, do this, but then there's no mission because Hera's only out for a certain amount of time.
But it's right there. She set it all up. Why not cross the finish line?
I know.
So we're happy with what we got.
Oh, very happy.
Even though we can nitpick.
Well, I do have to say Chopper is really funny. And there was one moment where I was kind of taking video of Hera starting to do her rebel spy training. And Chopper was trying to get to her, but I was blocking Chopper. So Chopper was like he was like right behind me, like, you know, trying to bump me and get past me, and like, what is this all doing in my way?
Yeah, he was almost at ramming speed trying to knock you over to get to Hera.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chopper.
There was a big group, and guess how many of them said, wait a minute, this does not fit in the Galaxy's Edge timeline? Guess how many people said that?
No one.
Not a one.
No.
Not a one.
So then after that, we had pretty much had the best day ever at Disneyland. We had been there for 3 hours maybe? And we were kind of ready to go home because we had to put up our Halloween lights.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like the perfect day, October 1st, 2023 at Disneyland.
That's the way we celebrated the kickoff of Halloween month and Julie Andrews' birthday. All right, now with that, let's get into the finale of Ahsoka.
May the Force be with you.
There'll be no negotiating.
If you reached out with the Force as the Ahsoka finale began, you could hear millions of voices fall to a hush as we all waited to see what was to become of Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, Ezra, Thrawn, Baylan, and the Night Sisters.
So join us as we dive into this 8th episode, the finale episode titled The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, written by Dave Filoni, directed by Rick Fumiyawa. All right, are you ready to start unpacking?
I am, but remember, as with any of our episodes on something, there will be spoilers.
Attention Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Attention Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
So go ahead. You go first.
As an overall thought, I would say being the final episode, I thought I would need to buckle in since this would be moving at the speed of light. With so much story, the episode took its time, which isn't a bad thing. But then you realized, okay, it's not going to tie up everything because there's a much bigger movie to come, which is going to tie up everything.
Right. Okay.
Now, I really wished I knew more about the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe going into this, just because they would give me a hint of what was to come. Now, I don't know if it's going to parallel Narnia, but seeing how Dave Filoni has taken Narnia stories like The World Between Worlds and added them into Ahsoka, is that just a fun reference, or are these episodes paralleling Narnia? Now, I have no background on Narnia other than I saw that first movie back in 2005?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're in luck because I read all the things.
Oh, then take it away.
And I do have to say that I don't think Ahsoka is a direct reference to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think what Filoni is doing, and you can see it everywhere in names, in uses of animals and things like that, he is basically modeling Ahsoka on what George Lucas did to create Star Wars. That is, he plucked different mythological constructs and used them to create Star Wars. Dave Filoni is doing the exact same thing. You have Shin and Skull, which are based, those are wolf names in Norse mythology. So he's plucked those names and used them for Baylan Skull and Shin Hati.
I get that. Is it mirroring The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or is it just a fun play on words?
I think a little bit it is mirroring it in that, so the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first novel in a series of Narnia novels. And what it is Narnia is a far-off land that has been taken over by an evil witch and plunged into a permanent winter. So already you're seeing parallels to this far-off galaxy, and that's ruled over by these 3 witches.
Okay.
Right? And it's not necessarily plunged into a permanent winter, but they're basically it's this mystical land that tales have been told about it. So just like Balin has been told stories in the Jedi Temple about this land. So that's a parallel. And I do have to say I love this title, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. I want to say wardrobe so bad.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's just so fantasy. And, the Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia are fantasy novels. And this is really calling out the fact that Ahsoka is on the fantasy side of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Just like Andor was very much the realism side of Star Wars.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
But this is all about the fantasy, the witches, the zombies.
Yes! So should we talk about this?
Let's talk about these zombies. Now, the one moment I secretly wanted to see was the resurrection of the night troopers who we knew were going to be zombies. Now, with that said, I hate zombies. I don't like zombie movies, zombie shows, but every once in a while, like with The Last of Us, like, okay, I like the idea behind that, and zombie troopers, all right, you know what? I'm into this. It was very, very eerie, but I wanted to see these zombie troopers move more like the undead, like the corpses were struggling to be reanimated, and it kind of looked like some of the troopers were like, oh, hold on, I gotta get up. Okay, there we go. And I wanted to see more of that kind of crickety look within them. However, I did get the chills when they first started to flinch and the light behind their helmets glowed green. The eyes were glowing green. Yeah, that gave me chills.
Yeah, me too. There was that one moment where you got a close up of one of the zombie troopers who was just cut down by, I think, Ezra, and then it's a close up of his face and the green glowed again, and you're like, whoa.
Now I love that because it was so Michael Myers.
Oh, interesting.
So how he just sits straight up without using his hands to get himself up like this, and I like that. I wish there were more of that.
Okay. Well, I feel like because these zombie troopers are magicked into existence by the witches, I am all for it.
Oh,
I don't know
too.
what it is about witches, but I love the witches. We just watched Hocus Pocus 2 last night. So I'm just so into witches right now. It just makes me so excited.
Oh, and plus
that witches are in Star Wars.
The Night Sisters?
Yes, the Night Sisters, which for me is a huge deep cut. I mean, I read The Courtship of Princess Leia back when I was like 12 or 13, it was very, like, they really imprinted on me, these Night Sister witches.
Oh, and they were great in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because they used the Force, but with them, it was more magic. Mm-hmm. And we saw a whole different side. It wasn't just Force users and non-Force users, the good and the bad. Here we have the Night Sisters, and they're their own entity.
Now, what's interesting is in the Clone Wars, the Night Sisters were led by one witch, Mother Talzin. Mm-hmm. But here you have the 3 witches, and they always come in threes. Whenever Dave Filoni puts them in a scene, or Rick Fumiyawa, they're always the 3 together. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like when the 3 witches offered Morgan Elsbeth witch powers, I was a little concerned by that because that would make 4 witches, and witches come in threes.
There's hierarchies. I think there's,
I know.
There's like the Mother Talzin character, and then you have the 3 witches below her, and I think there's that kind of tier level where when Morgan was made into more of a definite Night Sister, she was not on the same level as the 3 witches.
Well, I don't know about that. My point is when she was offered that, I got a little scared for her or the witches, which turned out to be
validated.
a valid point. Mm-hmm. But how cool was that flaming green sword that she got? It kind of reminded me of the Maleficent dragon, how that dragon, her witch power is green, that same kind of acid green, right? Mm-hmm. And then she's killed by the sword, which is the good, but it just all made me think of Maleficent a lot.
All right, that's the Blade of Talzin. You want
yes!
A little deep dive
yes, I do.
On this? All right, I was going to save this for the Easter eggs.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Let's go into it now since you brought this up. All right, now, the Blade of Talzin. This was last seen in the Clone Wars episode, The Disappeared Part 2. Now, do you recall this episode?
You'd have to give me a one-liner.
All right, I'll get more than a one-liner, because you can't sum up this in one line.
Okay.
This is the episode where Jar Jar Binks' girlfriend, Queen Julia, she's abducted by the Frangal cult, and Talzin shows up and plans to use the planetary alignment to combine the Queen's spirit with her dark magic.
Yes.
That is until Mace Windu shows up and the two battle lightsaber on blade. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was a great battle, and that was the one and only time we've ever really seen the Blade of Talzin.
Wow.
And at the
was
end,
it flaming? Was it
oh
like
yeah,
green?
oh yeah, the green flame.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
sweet.
yeah. And then at the end of the battle, Talzin knew that she was defeated, so she just disappeared.
Oh my God, that's
with
amazing.
the blade. So, how did this get to these three mothers?
Well, they magicked it out of
Right.
Like I think it just kind of it goes into the ether. You know how Loki like basically hides things in pocket dimensions around him, and he just pulls his knife out of nowhere? That's Mother Talzin's sword.
And I'm sure after Mother Talzin, spoiler alert, was killed, that she put this into the ether so it can be retrieved by other mother witches.
I think so. I think that's how it works.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But that's the history behind the Blade of Talzin. So when they
love
said that, it's
it.
like, oh, Easter egg.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another thing I want to say about this episode, and I really like just the imagery in this Ahsoka series is just fantastic, and you can really read a lot into it, a lot more. So when Thrawn and the Night Sisters, they're very much aligned right now, but I feel like they're using each other for the main goal of getting back to the Star Wars galaxy / Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main things about this, it's very visual. The witches are always doing things in threes, and you always see them, 3 of them on screen at the same time. There are several moments, especially in this finale, where you see the 3 witches on one side of the screen, and you see Thrawn either by himself or with Enoch. Yeah, the 2. So the witches always do things in threes. Thrawn has done everything in 2s. Even the final scene of him and the Night Sisters, once they arrive at Dathomir and are looking out onto it, is the 3 sisters are in silhouette together, and then Thrawn and Enoch are a pair of silhouettes together. So I think this is foreshadowing like a rift between them. And also, when Thrawn bombarded the Night Sister fortress, that head Night Sister gave him a look. She ain't gonna forget that.
No. Oh, that's what you call the dark side.
Yeah.
So in the Sky Chat.
Yes, Courtney is saying, I was kind of disappointed with this episode. I like some aspects, but for the director that we had, who is Rick Fumiyawa, I was expecting more action. I didn't like that they never came face to face with Thrawn. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but they have to hold on to that until the movie.
So, Richard, did you have any story bumps, or did you have any comments you want to bring up here?
Yeah, comment here. Kevin Reitzel. Hey guys.
Hey, Kevin.
Nick Werner. Hello there.
Aw. Oh, and Pierre Kelly as well.
And Pierre Kelly coming in with a hi y'all.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, so I really did like this episode. It took me by surprise because it was a little slower than I expected, but I love the pacing of these Disney Plus shows, whether it be the Star Wars shows or Marvel, because it's world building.
Right.
And we don't need to keep going action. And I think coming up to the very end, you knew that we were not going to have a total tie up of everything. We weren't going to tie up Balin and Shin. We weren't going to tie up Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka. That was not going to happen.
Not in that one episode that we had.
No. And that became more and more obvious as the episode was going because, okay, you only have 10 more minutes and you got still a lot to cover. So at that point, you know how it's going to end. Which, not that's being predictable, but because you don't know how it's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a couple of story bumps.
Okay.
All right. One of which, I don't like it when characters suddenly appear. you have a long shot, the character's not there, cut into a close-up, and the character walks in from out of frame. It's like, no, that doesn't mean that no one else, just because the viewer can't see you, doesn't mean that no one else can see you. Like what I'm talking about at the end, when Ahsoka was being beaten by all the troopers, suddenly we see Sabine standing there. It was a great dramatic moment because now Ahsoka, she's got her apprentice with her.
Oh yeah,
Master and the apprentice.
And they're together, like Huang said.
However, where did she come from? Why didn't the night troopers see her there? She was standing right there out in the open, and there were troopers everywhere, even along the perimeter. So if she was standing behind one of those monoliths, you would have been able to see her. So that kind of thing just takes me right out of the show.
Okay.
And can I do one more?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Of course.
Another story bump came at the very end. When...
And this doesn't mean we don't like it.
No.
Yeah.
These are bumps that
nitpicks.
take you out of the episode and go, okay, you did it for a dramatic purpose,
right?
But for the sake of the viewers,
give us a little credit.
Give us a little credit for thinking these things through.
Right.
Like when Ezra came down the shuttle ramp at the very end, you see Hera and all the guards holding this trooper at gunpoint because the trooper comes down off the ramp out of the ship, and they're all holding their blaster at this trooper. Takes off his helmet, and it's Ezra.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So okay, great dramatic moment. I'm sure Ezra wanted his big reveal, but you would think Ezra would go, okay, if they see a trooper walking down the ramp of this shuttle, aren't they? There's a chance they may shoot me.
Yeah. Right.
So what I would like to have seen is, you see this figure walk down like Darth Vader's entrance in Return of the Jedi. You see him walking down the ramp. You see just his body, and the camera pans up to his head. I'd like to have seen that, but when the camera comes to his head, there's a big thing of mist that blocks, and the mist dissipates, and you see Ezra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Think about another Darth Vader moment in the carbon freezing chamber when all that mist comes up to Darth Vader's helmet and it dissipates, and you see this very awesome shot of Vader. I would have loved to have seen that.
I like that.
Because
you should have talked to Rick Fumiyawa about that.
He didn't call me. Rick, you know my number. We've talked before. So these are what I call story bumps because it bumps you out of the story.
I got it.
All right.
I have one.
Okay.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, then I get one more other thing that I'd like to comment on.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my story bump was, by the end of the last episode, they have a ticking time clock, to get back to the Chimera and stop Thrawn from escaping to the previous galaxy. Well, they're in this time crunch, and yet you begin and you see Ahsoka's ship crawling along with the Noti, like just at their speed, which the ship can go much faster than that, while Ezra forms his lightsaber. And I mean, in the previous episode, he proved that he could fight without a lightsaber, so why didn't they just storm the castle right away? That's the little story hiccup for me.
Yeah, and those are the very slow moments.
Yeah.
That, okay, I know there's a lot of story to tell here, so let's just pick up the pace a little bit more and cut those things down.
And it was a cool lightsaber that they made.
It was a very cool lightsaber. Yeah. And the fact they kept name dropping Kanan.
I know.
I loved it. But anyone else watching this who's just a casual fan, may not have seen the animated shows,
right?
They're going to pause it and go, okay, now I can look up Wikipedia. Who is this Kanan? Who is this? But like we always say, these aren't shows you can just go in cold.
No.
That's not going to happen where you're going to walk into this and understand everything that's going on.
Now, DJ 5000 agrees with you about the reveal of Ezra. Yeah. I mean, they had every reason to shoot Ezra in full gear.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plus, wouldn't you want to get out of that ugly-ass stormtrooper armor? Like, not ugly, but like, I'm sure it smelled. I'm sure it was old and cracked.
As I know, you can't sit in stormtrooper armor. So as Ezra's flying the ship, he's sitting down there going, "This is, you know what? Why am I wearing this?"
Yeah, this is intolerable. Take it off. And you should have just come in the stormtrooper, the black bodysuit underneath.
Yeah. And then how did Chopper know that was Ezra?
I don't know.
If Ezra had given him a little, "Hey, buddy," which is what he calls Chopper, or "Hey, Chop," something where Chopper could have gone over and go, "Wait a minute, I know that voice." All right. Now, once again, I was satisfied with the episode. A couple of story bumps withstanding.
Yeah.
But I missed the yell out loud moment.
Oh.
Like in the past, when we see Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars flashbacks, we were hooping and hollering and yelling. Neighbors were complaining. C-3PO was another big yell-out moment when Hu Yang said, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." We all screamed. And I was missing that one, I don't want to say fan service moment, but I really wanted to see a big fan service moment. Now, fan service, I love fan service. I love it because it's the filmmakers going, "Hey, fans, this one's for you." So, and a lot of people don't like it because they feel like we're being hit over the head. I don't ever feel like that.
You don't care.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I was missing maybe another cameo I thought we were going to get. Yeah, so I was just hoping for that one big woohoo moment where neighbors would start banging on our door again, telling us to quiet down.
Well, Sky Chatters, let us know, was there a moment for you in the finale that really...
Do an addendum on that, a fan service moment that made you go, "Oh, they recognized me as a fan."
Okay.
All right, I'm done critiquing.
That's okay.
I'm not.
Let's go in... You're not? Well, let's go into what we love.
Critiquing can be good.
That's true. So let's go into things that we loved about this.
Which there was a lot.
There was a lot
that we
to
loved.
love. So even though this episode did not seem slow to me. I don't know why. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I love anything with Thrawn because again, that reaches into my deep-seated fandom.
Sure. You had a whole collection of Thrawns in your office. Which kind of worries me.
I love him. I love him so much, and he is in top form here in this episode. Like some of the things he said, what he says to Morgan Elsbeth and him. We require a little more time, and he's not just saying that. He knows exactly what he's asking of Morgan is for her to stay behind. And her thing when she says for Dathomir, not just for the Empire, because Thrawn says for the Empire, and she says to herself for Dathomir, and the way she says that brought a tear to my eye. Like she was just so good in that moment. All right, well, there was another moment I loved, and this comes from Hu Yang. Am I saying that right?
Hu Yang, yes.
Hu Yang.
I think in the beginning I was saying Hu Wang.
Oh.
It's Hu Yang.
Because I think Ahsoka says it kind of that way in the first episode.
And I think that's why I was saying Hu Wang.
Hu Yang. She doesn't quite say the yes part. Yeah. So
that's why in some of my notes I had to really emphasize the Y in Hu Yang.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, even though it was part of the slow part, when Hu Yang and Ezra are building his lightsaber, there is a really neat, very meta moment when Ezra's asking Hu Yang, "How old are you?" And Hu Yang says, "Old enough to know that the relationship between a master and apprentice is as challenging as it is meaningful." And to me, this seems very meta, almost as if Filoni wrote this to himself, because he was apprenticed under George Lucas, and now he is the master creating this series. Like, this is one of the epitomes of his career, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just from, been building and building and building, and now it's like, wow, he's on his own without his master, George Lucas. And this series is about Ahsoka, getting a last lesson from Anakin and using that and becoming Ahsoka. Like, it's just, it's so meta. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, now I agree that when Ezra was building his lightsaber and Hu Yang gave him that one top piece.
Yes!
Okay, that was
that was
a
top
good
piece.
Yes. It was a good fan moment, which I really liked, because Hu Yang said, "We've only made 2 of these."
Yeah.
Kanan has one and you have the other.
And it's so like Harry Potter with the
two sides of the same
phoenix
coin.
Feather.
Yes,
like the phoenix feather only gave two feathers, and one was to Harry Potter and the other was to Voldemort.
Yeah, so I take back the whole, there was no yell out loud moment, so there was that one yell out loud moment.
That was amazing.
Okay.
I loved that so much.
Patty Hammond in the Sky Chat says, "I screamed when Ezra was building his lightsaber."
Aww.
And I don't think it's a secret that Galaxy's Edge, Doc and Dar, the Den of Antiquities, is going to start selling Kanan's lightsaber.
Yeah.
We heard this from a cast member, and she didn't say, "Oh, keep this on the down low."
No. Yeah, so Kanan's lightsaber's coming.
Yeah.
Woo! Ooh, Dan the Man says, Ahsoka is a series I can rewatch multiple times throughout the year. It is very deep. There's a lot you can get from these episodes. And we're going to even go into it more because we got Easter eggs and we got music and
much
musical references.
Now, leading up to this conversation right here, we were speculating. What do you think is going to happen by the finale? Now, do you want to go over your speculations and my speculations, and did they actually happen?
Let's start out with one of yours.
Okay. I really knew that we were going to lose a main character. And we did, Morgan Elsbeth. And I strongly believe that Balin was going to kill Shin Hati in order to save Ahsoka. Because remember, in the very beginning, Balin was saying it'll be a shame to kill a Jedi because there's so few of them out there. And Balin really appreciates her mastery of the Force and what she's become. And I really thought we were going to lose 2 characters, and Shin was going to be one of them, which didn't happen. And I thought almost that we were going to lose Hu Yang, but for a character with so much past,
yeah, you don't want to lose.
Yeah,
him.
we can't lose him. But I didn't see the demise of Morgan Elsbeth.
No, just a little bit when the witches made her another 4th witch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So my speculation there that we were going to lose Shin, that didn't happen.
I had a speculation that they would all remain in this other galaxy because of the sequel trilogy. And like, if everything comes back to the Star Wars galaxy that we know, then we're locked into this somehow Palpatine return timeline and the sequel trilogy timeline and Luke creating his Jedi Academy timeline.
Okay, but they do interconnect because remember, we see the Ghost and the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Well, but the Ghost belongs to Hera, who's still over there.
Right, but that doesn't mean that we're going to see every single character in every single movie or TV show.
Right.
Who knows that
I know.
Sabine and Chopper may have been on the Ghost, but it wasn't their movie. So we're not going to focus on them.
I'm not saying that a movie should focus on characters we know from here. I'm saying that their timelines and their futures are kind of they're beholden to what we've seen in the sequel trilogy right now.
Right, but just because we only see the point of view of Rey and her group, we're not seeing the point of view of another group because things are happening in parallel all the time. Just because they're off screen doesn't mean they're not happening.
Okay.
So we could see Ahsoka and Sabine, or Ahsoka and Chopper, or we know Chopper is with Hera, so maybe Sabine and Ahsoka are off doing something else. On a little side mission.
Saving the galaxy?
Maybe they're saving the galaxy, but they're not within Rey's storyline. So we're not going to have to focus on them. Because imagine if they did do a movie where you got to focus on everyone's point of view. So just once again, because we don't see them, doesn't mean they're not out there. So anything could happen with these characters. And we do hear Ahsoka in the Rise of Skywalker. That doesn't mean she's dead.
Right. We don't know.
We'll know when the Mandoverse movie comes to a theater near you sometime in 2029.
Yes. Was there any other speculations you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we were going to get a whole Rebels reunion.
Oh.
With Zeb. We know Zeb's out there. I thought we were going to get that reunion that we see in Sabine's mural.
Right.
I thought we were going to get that moment, but instead of Kanan, we were going to have Jason.
Oh, that would be cute.
Yeah, so that's another speculation I had because they made a big deal about this mural traveling to conventions, putting it in a lot of the promos. I thought, okay, this is gonna tie everything together.
Well, Patty Hammond has a speculation.
Oh, okay.
In the future, I want to see Ezra reuniting with Hondo.
Now that's a series. That is a series right there.
And Ezra needs to call himself Jabba the Hutt.
Orlando Calrissian.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Patty. That was funny.
So those are the speculations that I had.
Okay.
And none of them came true, except for losing a character, which wasn't Shin.
Right.
All right. So now let's talk about the Easter eggs.
Okay.
There's so many of them.
And
Now-
after Easter eggs, we're going to get into some music cues.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of music talk. Now, one Easter egg I really loved is when Morgan says to Thrawn, "There is little the Jedi can do to stop us now," and Thrawn replies, "I've watched many an Imperial officer make the same assumption about the rebellion. Even I fell victim to the heroics of a single Jedi."
As seen in Star Wars Rebels finale.
Oh yeah. I just love the fact that Thrawn's like, yeah, I've seen many Imperial officers make that same stupid assumption, and they're nowhere to be seen right now. And I fell victim to Ezra. Oh, that Ezra and that Purgle.
That's right. Many arms encircling him,
Mhm.
spelling his doom.
So I love that callback to Rebels. And if you don't know Rebels and you hear that, you're not thinking, wait a minute, that sounds confusing, because it's clear enough where you can get the meaning behind that exchange.
I love that if you have put in the time and watched Star Wars Rebels, there are so many things in this series that really pay off.
Oh yeah.
For you.
Uh-huh.
The music, we're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Good
Now,
stuff.
We talked about the blade of Talzin.
Yes.
But now let's talk about this double lightsaber whammy callback.
Okay.
Now, as Sabine is being choked out by the zombie death trooper, she reaches out with the Force, and she's attempting to grab her lightsaber. Now, this is very similar to when Luke was hanging upside down in the Wampa cave, and he's trying to use the Force to retrieve his lightsaber before the Wampa comes back, and the lightsaber rattles and rattles, and we saw that same thing with Sabine trying to grab her lightsaber. So I call it a double whammy, because first we have that Luke analogy, that Luke moment, and then there's another Last Jedi moment where she grabs the lightsaber and she plunges it through the Death Trooper zombie's head, which is like what Kylo Ren did after Rey threw the lightsaber to Kylo, and he switches it on. It goes through the Praetorian Guard's head.
Yeah, his eye.
Yeah.
His eye.
Yeah, the fact that in the inside of the Death Trooper's helmet just lights up green.
That was
not from the
cool.
magic, but from the lightsaber blade going through the skull.
Oh yeah, that was bad. Oh my
So
gosh.
I love that that moment right there, because it didn't just call back to Luke, but it called back to Luke and to Kylo Ren.
I love that too.
Mm-hmm. Now another simple little callback were the TIE Fighter pilots. They had the red lines going down their helmet, the same way we see in The Force Awakens and the sequels.
Oh.
Now in Star Wars they had gray stripes, very subtle. But in the sequels, they had the red stripes, and these TIE Fighter pilots had the red stripes here.
Okay.
So that's one more step into the sequel era.
Trilogy,
and
right.
I love this, the tie-ins to the original trilogy, the prequels, and now the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Just those two little red lines excited me.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. So now we talked about the Easter eggs. Now let's talk about the music.
Okay. And just this week, we got a couple articles with Kevin Kiner and his son and daughter, Sean Kiner and Deanna Kiner. And they worked together to write music for this Ahsoka series. There's articles on Screen Rant and Yahoo.com. And I'm pulling some of this information from those articles. And some of this information is just stuff I gleaned from listening and musical things that I know. All right. So here, the main thing about this series is that Dave Filoni didn't want just a repetition of the character themes that Kiner created for Star Wars Rebels and things. He wanted the music to reflect that the characters have been progressing. So Kiner really credits his Sean and Deanna to helping him progress the characters, especially Ahsoka, through the music. So here's a quote. The Ahsoka theme has roots in Tales of the Jedi, and the kids came up with a variation of the Ahsoka theme, and this is in the beginning of the end credits of Ahsoka, and it has this groove to it, the Ronin groove. It's her Ronin melody.
Whoa.
And this is an exact quote from the article. So
that was from Kevin Kiner.
Yes, this is Kevin Kiner. He's crediting his kids with coming up with some of these melodies here. So let's hear the end credits of Ahsoka and her Ronin theme. Okay, so that's her theme. And there's various times that this plays in the Ahsoka series. One of the main times it plays in episode 8 is when she and Sabine, Ahsoka and Sabine, are riding toward the castle. Storming the castle, if you will.
May the Force be with you.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Hold on. You know what? Patty Hammond says in the Sky Chat, the music reminded me of the Mandalorian music. Yeah, it has that very Ronin lone gunslinger sound to it. And I wonder if that was a direction from Dave Filoni where, okay, here's what we have from Joseph Shirley and from Ludwig Göransson. So make it kind of sound like it belongs in the same universe.
Okay, so another fun little musical cue that I loved in this episode in particular is, again, we have these zombie troopers, right? And there's a reference to a very classical piece of music called Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. And this is a symphonic poem, which is music that tells a story, where death summons the dead from their graves to dance around at midnight on Halloween. And so if you hear some of this opening to Danse Macabre, it sounds like what we're hearing when the zombie troopers are reanimated by the Night Sisters. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Here is Danse Macabre. Okay, so here is when the Night Sisters are reawakening. Is that awesome?
That's very awesome. Now, it's very, very Hitchcockian.
You can almost hear them go.
Now, have we heard those violins in any other theme?
Not here. No, not.
This is the
Are
first
you talking
time...
about in Star Wars Rebels? Or
no, in Ahsoka, yes.
No.
Okay.
This is the very first time, and I immediately thought of Danse Macabre.
Oh, yes. Just the music range in Ahsoka is fantastic, and Kevin Kiner in these articles really does attribute the range to his kids. Because he says, there's only so many interesting ideas I can come up with.
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
Yeah, it's really neat. Well,
hold on, Chris.
Yeah.
Go to Patty Hammond. She's also saying that same music is used for a Sherlock Holmes audio series that Michael and I listened to.
Oh, fun. Okay. And also, Courtney is saying that the Addams Family is what Danse Macabre sounds like to me. All right. So, in these articles, the composers, we learned, are really drawn to Balin's theme, especially Sean Kiner, who says, it was neat to be able to do that kind of piano sound in Star Wars. It's big, bombastic, but it's got a classicism to it. We use this Rachmaninoff voicing to play a variation of this melody called Dies Irae. Now, unpacking that sentence, Rachmaninoff is a composer that is known for, he had like giant fingers, and he would create these piano pieces that are like, according to pianists, it's the hardest music to play because he had big giant hands. And so like to recreate the music that Rachmaninoff composed for these piano concertos is like super hard. If you can do it, you're considered a master pianist.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he's talking about this melody, Dies Irae, which is da 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 da. And this has been used. It's an ancient medieval thing that has been associated in film and storytelling with death and the end of things.
Wow.
So they play this in the orchestra with a heavy metal sensibility. So let's hear Balin's theme. Now, this is from Master and Apprentice when he and Shin are storming in the very first episode.
Yeah, they're storming that Republic.
They're storming the Republic.
Cruiser.
Cruiser. Now, we're going to hear that here, and then we're going to see how Balin's theme has changed by the end of this series.
Okay.
Whoa, super cool, right?
I like how Thrawn is the organ.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
Balin is the piano.
Yes. Okay, so now, but we get to Balin's theme, and it plays in various places throughout, but now we're going to hear it at the very finale of episode 8. And you'll hear, and I want to know what you guys think of where Balin is going, where his story is going, based on this theme and how it is revoiced. So now his piano notes are on the high end of the piano and not the low end, and it's very much more reflective.
Yeah, much slower.
Yeah, slower. There's almost, I don't know if I want to call it a hopeful tone to it. It feels still very melancholy.
Well, when we first heard the theme, he was charging through those corridors.
Right.
Cutting soldiers down. Now he's just looking out into the land going, okay, I've got the next chapter of my story is now beginning. So you're right. It is very reflective, and it demands that it's slower.
Yeah. Oh, Patty has a good, let's see. Patty has a comment. He is going to find something in those old tales that Huyang was telling Ahsoka when they were traveling. Yeah? I bet.
They better play back to those.
Yeah.
When Huyang was saying, "Oh yeah, I got many stories to tell," and Ahsoka's like, "Yeah, read me one of those stories."
Yeah.
Read me from the first book.
I love his theme so much, and I'm so sad that Ray Stevenson has passed away. This character is so compelling though. I hope they recast him so we can have his story play out, because this is such an intriguing character.
Yeah, I think they will recast him instead of doing digital makeup on another actor, just because it was just one series. Had Balin been in The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and now Ahsoka, it'd be a little bit harder, but we've only seen him in 8 episodes, maybe 7. So I think we can recast him. A lot of people were fan casting Liev Schreiber.
Oh wow!
I can see that.
The same, like sadness yet.
Yeah, very big guy.
Yeah, interesting. Oh,
so I would root for that.
Yeah, but hats off to Ray Stevenson.
He just got to really coif his hair like Balin. That's the only thing I ask.
Absolutely. All right, I just have a couple more things to share in the music, and they have to do with the Rebels Easter eggs. So you were saying you weren't jumping off your seat when you were watching this episode. Well, I was.
Asterisk, except for that Kanan shout out.
Okay. Well, I was, because the ending of this series is very much like the ending of Twilight of the Apprentice, which is the Star Wars Rebels Season 2 finale.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to play part of that Twilight of the Apprentice for you guys and listen specifically to the music. Okay, so you hear that. Now, let's hear Ahsoka when she sees Anakin at the end of Ahsoka episode 8. Come on. I'm gonna like cry. Oh my God, I love that. Okay. So then also at the end of this finale, the end credits did not start with that Ahsoka Ronin theme. Instead, they are mirroring again that season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, from Star Wars Rebels. So, this is the Rebels ending continued. Here's the Ahsoka end credits in the finale.
Oh yeah, that's right there.
Isn't that so awesome? So I was like listening to the credits going, oh my God, it's like the finale. And I've like listened to that finale of Twilight of the Apprentice so many times. It's on your music streaming services. You can go listen to it. It's called It's Over Now, that track. So go listen to that. And then compare it when we finally get volume 2 of Ahsoka, the music coming out. I can't wait.
You can call this fan service, or you can call it this. That's just the way this story is going to play out. Many ways to call it.
Yeah. But it's interesting how, even the visuals right now, the visuals to Twilight of the Apprentice, they're kind of wrapping up each story, showing where each person is. That's exactly what happens at the end of this Ahsoka series, too. Mm-hmm. You get the Shin moment where she's holding her lightsaber up. You get Balin on that cliff with the statue of the father.
He's standing on the hand of the father.
Yeah, so let's unpack this ending that we got.
All right.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So now how did these statues end up on Peridia? You have the father and the hand is out and Balin standing on his hand.
Yes.
Next to him, to his right, is the son.
Yes. And then the daughter has been, I'm sure that statue, it's been destroyed.
The head is gone.
Yeah, so if you've seen the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, you know that the daughter basically gave put her life essence into Ahsoka to help her live again.
Right, and then we see her come back as the Convor,
as
Moray.
Yeah.
So
Moray.
yeah, there's a lot right there.
Yeah. So what do we think's happening? So I think Balin is tapping into some of these old stories, like Patty wants, some of these old stories that Huang has told them about probably the father, the son, and the daughter. And maybe the Mortis arc kind of happened like in this other galaxy. I don't know. Like, this is crazy. There's like so many things to unpack.
That's a good question right there. The Mortis. Where is Mortis?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a world between world of sorts.
Or is it in this other kind of galaxy?
Right.
Because it was not on the maps.
Right. It wasn't on the maps. Yeah, I think somehow they got sucked in, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, right? Those are the 3. They got sucked into maybe a world between world kind of portal that
dumped them off.
Dumped them into Mortis.
And that's in the same galaxy as Peridia.
Possibly. So how are Ahsoka and Sabine going to get back to the main galaxy? Well, Ahsoka sees the Convor, and the Convor has been in the world between worlds. So I feel like they're going to use the world between worlds to get back. Because the Purgles ain't coming back to their area
No.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
No.
They know what's good for them.
Yeah. So that would be my speculation, is that somehow they're going to interface with Balin, and Balin might have control of, he was standing on the father. So Balin might be kind of looking to embody the father somehow, which isn't he kind of both darkness and light together?
The father?
Yeah.
Oh, he's everything.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Bendu in a way.
Right. And that's how Balin was acting this whole series, honestly. Like, he wasn't all dark. He wasn't all light. He was kind of in between.
He was a mercenary.
Yeah.
So he was going to do whatever you paid him to do.
Patty thinks they are going to hop through a portal that Balin finds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Patty.
So I think you're right that Maury is going to lead them to that portal.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm excited.
Oh.
Now, what
so
about
many
Shin?
possibilities.
Yeah.
Shin. She's going to form her own army with those bandits.
Yeah. And she's going to lead them because that's her calling. She just wants power.
But Balin is stuck there, so Balin might come back and say, all right, so Shin, you're going to work under me, and the rest of the bandits will work under you. That's the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the things I loved about the ending, again, is a Thrawn moment. Oh, I love Thrawn so much. He did such a good job. I love his red eyes. And I feel like, this whole series, Star Wars, is a lot based on samurai. Thrawn says to Ahsoka, I know you because I knew your master. One wonders just how similar you might become. Perhaps this is where a Ronin such as you belongs. Today's victory is mine for the Empire. So he calls out the word Ronin, which is a term based in samurai. Mm-hmm. And a Ronin in samurai is a samurai that doesn't have a master, right?
They roam on their
wild.
own.
They roam on their own. They don't have like a clan.
Yeah.
Or
they have no master.
Any kind of belonging.
Yeah. So we saw Thrawn and Anakin together in Thrawn Alliances.
Yes.
So now we need to see more of that.
The book.
The book. To see Thrawn and Anakin together. Oh.
And Vader. So that book features both Thrawn and Anakin when Thrawn is younger, and then Thrawn and Vader when Thrawn has become a Grand Admiral.
Yeah, so it really flips the timelines.
Or he might be an admiral at that point, not Grand, but still.
But still, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, we need to revisit that.
Yeah.
And don't they visit Batu?
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They visit
So if you go to
Batu
Galaxy's
twice.
Edge, you go to Oga's Cantina, you see the blaster marks on the walls. Like, that happened during Thrawn Alliances.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
Yeah. All right, we need Thrawn Alliances. That needs to be adapted into a show. You know what? Don't take little bits and pieces. Just adapt the whole thing. But that's like, what, book 2?
I believe so. Of the... Yeah, one of the Thrawn trilogies. There's like 6 books
just adapt that one.
But Thrawn Alliances, like, honestly, if you're going to read one Thrawn novel, read that one. That's my suggestion.
I think that's the only one I did read.
Yeah. All right, so are we satisfied with this episode, with this series?
Yes. And I know going into this, I was a little apprehensive on the episode because it didn't meet my expectations. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. But everyone walks into things with their own expectations. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but it was world building.
Yeah.
And it has got a huge world to build. So in the end, once I let it all seep in and really analyze it, it's like, okay, yes, now I'm very satisfied because this was the end of a chapter.
Oh yeah. Did our discussion help you too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Because we just watched it, last night? We watched it again this morning. Mm-hmm. So you need to watch something like this a couple of times.
Yeah.
Just to appreciate all the story beats.
The story beats, the music, the visuals, just everything that's happening. There was some great Easter eggs just alone in the sound effects.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Always, yeah. But the depressing thing at the end, knowing was that we're not going to see the outcome of this whole story until the Mandoverse movie. Who knows when that'll be?
Right.
Yeah. And one more thing, since the Skeleton Crew show, this takes place in the same time frame, we may see some characters from Ahsoka pop into that show.
Oh. Maybe Ezra?
Possibly. Huh. I know they've done that kind of thing before where characters from other other series like Mandalorian will pop in Boba Fett and take over for
Take
a couple of episodes and come right back again. I doubt they'll do that because I'm sure they've learned from that. Now, Skeleton Crew was rumored to be released on Disney Plus in December of this year, but that seems very highly unlikely now.
Yeah.
Very highly unlikely.
Okay. Wow.
So we may see these characters before we see the Mandoverse movie.
Okay. Okay, well, that's exciting. Yeah, I felt very satisfied with this series. There's so much to unpack, so many mythological references and things, and I'm so nerdy about it. Like I just love nerding out about this and the music and everything. And I feel like not only did we get a lot of closure, but we got new beginnings to many of their stories. Like we were just talking about Balin, we're talking about Shin. Like we're seeing where they might be headed next.
Oh yeah, this is just the end of this chapter, not the end of the story.
Yeah. And now these 3 Dathomir witches are arriving on Dathomir, which is the seat of their power. We were watching a Star Wars Rebels episode, remember, where they, like Mother Talzin could only exist in this one cave in Dathomir even after she died because there was power there for the witches to claim. So once these witches gain their power, I think they're going to be like, Thrawn, yeah, you gone. Like, they're going to have a battle, in my opinion.
And those mother witches, they were very smart. Yeah, let's get back to Dathomir,
Yeah,
Thrawn.
yeah.
Don't worry. Once we get back there, you're going to be safe. Even though you destroyed our altar on Peridia, don't worry. When we get back to Dathomir, you'll be okay, all right?
Yeah.
So just watch your back. What'd you say? Nothing. I said we'll be back.
Nothing. Oh, that dirty look said it
Oh,
all.
yeah.
That
They are not on the same side.
the head witch said when Thrawn was like, yeah, just try the thing.
Yeah.
No.
You left Morgan Elsbeth. We just made her into a night witch. Why did we go through all that trouble of making her into a night sister when you're just gonna leave her behind?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they ain't happy. They never upset a witch.
Although that said, if Thrawn and the witches work together, I wonder what kind of galaxy the Star Wars galaxy will become.
Oh, they ain't working together.
I know they're not, but like, I don't think they are.
Wrath has no fury like a scorned night sister witch.
Yeah. Just ask Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my
All
God.
right, so Skywalkers, what do you think? Tell us your thoughts on the Ahsoka series or season finale, and tell us what you thought about our comments and analogies.
For the Empire.
For you Ahsokites.
Yeah, I'm Dave Floating, and you're skywalking through Neverland. Thank you.
Shoutouts, Skywalker shoutouts. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout out. Who was photobombed? Shout out. Who was shared a post? Shout out.
All right, Skywalkers, this is our favorite time of the month when we get to praise the Skywalking Force for keeping us going for the last 10 years.
Yes, the Skywalking Force is our Patreon, and every month we name you because you are amazing. So thank you so much to Anthony Kakias,
Blessed Cheesemaker,
Bryn McKinnon,
Carl Fox,
Chica Fent,
Christopher Marino,
Courtney Turkel,
Dan Boris,
Darren Irvine,
Dave Kerwin,
Don Glover,
Garrett Sessions,
Jennifer Cole,
Jeremy and Heather Hunt,
John Liang,
John Zancanaro,
Julie Caruana,
Julie Gildersleeve,
Kato Toby Ryder,
Kelly Turkel,
Laura Bryce,
Leanne Nelson,
Lisa Berry,
Meredith Duckworth,
Michael Corbett,
Michael Nip,
Mike Ward,
Nancy Steinman,
Patrick Pine,
Patty Hammond,
Patty Nazarian,
Peter and Norma Heitman,
Reynold Gobey,
Scott Carmichael,
Scott Hume,
Terry Lee,
Wesley Meekoms,
and Win Patterson.
And big announcement to the Skywalking Force. I just sent out the last of the Ahsoka decals that I made especially for you. Actually, they're in the mail today for the last like 4 or 5 people. So if you haven't gotten your decal yet, don't worry. It's coming in the mail. Almost 40 of you are getting those Ahsoka decals that I made.
You're getting them before I'm getting it.
Well, I made some extra yesterday.
All right, good, because I haven't gotten mine yet.
Yay, they're so cute.
And I think I contribute a lot to Skywalking Through Neverland.
I think you do. I think so.
Then where is my decal?
It's in my office.
Okay.
So you'll have trouble finding it.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what we won't have trouble finding?
What?
More congratulatory messages sent in by Skywalkers for our 10th anniversary.
Yes. All right.
Now, would you agree that I'm king of the segues?
Yes.
That's all I wanted to hear.
And Kelly says, I know she wasn't referring to this when she said this, but they are awesome.
My segues? Well, thank you.
Oh, by the way, Skywalkers, if you want to be part of the Skywalking Force, head to skywalkingforce.com. Have a look at the options. There's really cool things. And I will be still sending out those decals if you join. So, yeah.
And many more Zoom parties to come.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kick things off with Trisha Barr.
Hi, Sarah and Richard. This is Trisha Barr from Fangirls Going Rogue, and I've known you guys since episode 3 of Skywalking Through Neverland. It's been a pleasure to be part of your journey, to be on some of the year-end wrap-up shows with you guys, and obviously with Sarah, just enjoying watching you grow as a podcaster and the things that you've done as a couple. I don't know anybody who works harder in Star Wars podcasting, and all your success is deserved. And here's to another 10 years of Skywalking Through the Force.
That's a name for a spinoff, Skywalking Through the Force.
Skywalking Through the Force.
I like that.
Our name lends itself well. Skywalking Through Run Disney.
Yeah.
Skywalking Through 10 years. Skywalking Through. It's just not good for because you want 10-year anniversary to be the first thing people see rather than Skywalking Through. Through what? Because they only see like the first 2 words if you look like online. Yeah.
All right, next let's play a message from our good friends Mark Newbold and Martin Keeler, and they recorded their message while on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Hey, Richard, Sarah, hello.
We're on the bridge of the house here, and we want to wish you happy 10th anniversary. Fantastic. Keep up the great work.
Absolutely. Great work. So many friends have come from what you do. Really appreciate it. And this is Martin and Mark saying, may the stars light your way.
Well said.
There you go. We're off to do adventures. Bye.
Oh.
Wow.
The Galactic Star Cruiser.
I think they were on it like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, one of the final voyages.
Yeah.
So glad they got a chance to do it. We were just, when we were at Galaxy's Edge on October 1st, of course, we had to represent the Halcyon.
Yeah.
So go ahead and show that picture. Here's us representing the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first day we were without the Galactic Star Cruiser since March the 1st, 2022.
Yeah. All right, well, Skywalkers, if you want to keep sending in your 10th anniversary messages, you can. You can record a video or audio on your phone and then send to share at skywalkingthroughneverland.com. We're going to keep playing your messages because we got, like I said, like dozens and dozens of messages last week. So every week we'll play about 3 of them. And that'll last at least a couple months.
Yeah, if you want to tell us a favorite moment or anything.
Or anything that happened because of the show, even. Or even how you listen. Like some people we learned in our Skywalking Force special party, 10th anniversary after party, we learned that some people don't even listen to the podcast. They just watch our live streams. or they just follow us on social media. Like a lot of the cast members follow us on social media and see our pictures, but don't ever like listen to the podcast. But hey, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
We love it.
Just subscribe to YouTube. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up episode 435 of Skywalking Through Neverland. Thanks to all you Skywalkers in the Sky Chat for commenting on our things we want to share, Dick Van Dyke stories, and the Ahsoka finale.
Are you interested in our books? Well, autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. Skywalking Force Patreon members get a 20% discount. So make sure you tune into Patreon to see what that discount code is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to support Skywalking Through Neverland, the best way is through the Skywalking Force, our Patreon. So not only do you get fun Ahsoka decals that I designed, you also have access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions. I'll also be putting out the video of our 10th anniversary after party on to our Skywalking Force special place. And then also you get the discount code. So lots of perks for the Skywalking Force, as well as just knowing that you're supporting us, who have been going strong for 10 years.
And another extra special shout out to Meredith, who just upped her level.
Yeah.
So thank you, Meredith.
Yeah, and a special shout out to Kato.
And Kato,
as who just joined.
Yes.
A new Skywalking Force
who was
member.
a guest. Now he's a Skywalker.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. Now, everyone get ready, we are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Who's going to be the first one in the Sky Chat to jump in with that? And there you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
the Max Effects Podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History.
Now we are at Skywalking Pod on social media. Just check the social medias, search Skywalking Pod, we'll probably pop up. We're also on Facebook, just search Skywalking Through Neverland. And once again, we love your messages, so send those to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
and don't spoil the finale of Ahsoka on social media before anyone else gets a chance to see it. And
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
Okay.
And now this is the next 10 years. This is the first episode of our next 10 years of podcasting.
Ah, okay. I get it.
It was math.
It takes me... It is math.
I'm wondering why they didn't have a Sabine out there. I figured she'd be much easier to do than Hera, since Hera's got all that makeup. Sabine would, and they already have the Sabine costume that we see at Star Wars nights, and it's the same armor. And why not have her and Ezra?
The witches and the zombies?
All right,
well,
hold on.
Okay.
Will this Sky Chat is saying exactly what I was thinking. I think you're overthinking the analogy. Yes, exactly. That's the point we're trying to make in the long run. Not to overthink it, but just very loose.
It's loose. And like I said, I think Dave is doing a very good job of taking these mythological constructs from various cultures and dumping them all in one thing, which makes it seem even more mythical and fantastical.
Okay.
That's the main point, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we nailed that one into the ground. All right. So, zombies. All right. See y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.